This video is going to be really rambly and really low quality because my phone storage has been acting up, so I'm using the webcam on my computer. Hey Sydney, so today I wanted to talk to you about living abroad and being a student and living with chronic pain and an invisible illness. So this is going to be a really rambly video, a lot of like train of thought kind of things. My editing is going to be very non-existent. Train of thought just goes off the rails, but stick with me. This is all very organic. So let's talk about chronic pain in France. First things first, my chronic illness is undiagnosed, so I don't have an exact, this is what you have, here's your badge of illness. No one knows exactly what is going on inside of me, what is making me sick. We only know my symptoms, which are chronic pain in the back, hips, knees, basically just like joints, and that leads to a lot of stiffness, especially up in my shoulders and my neck, causing a lot of tension headaches and nausea and vomiting, and sorry, there's going to be mentions of gross. I was recently diagnosed with scoliosis. If I need to reach something, if it's on my right side, it's much easier to turn and get it than it is to turn this way. Like, my mobility is a lot different. This is what I got this way. This is what I've got this way. It looks kind of the same, but it feels a lot different. It's way easier to turn to my right than it is to turn to my left. But it's not something visibly that people can see. So you don't walk around looking like stereotypically sick or ill. Being who I am, I still like to have my personality come out, and I still like to make jokes and joke around with my friends and just be like my goofy self. But that doesn't mean that inside I'm not hurting. My spine has sort of a C curvature. So as it comes up, it starts to bend and the vertebrae tilt. So one side is sort of squished more than the other, and that means that my ribs themselves on either side, one side the ribs are opening and the other side the ribs are closing down. For me, they think that it's connected to the other chronic back pain that I've had and the chronic knee pain and hip pain. I think all of that is interconnected because every part of your body affects the other parts of your body. When you're dealing with it 24/7, it starts to really weigh on you and starts to just drag your emotional health down as well. So you have all these things with you at home, ice packs, heating pads, physical therapy stretches, like all your medications and stuff, and then you leave home and you don't have those things. You're almost afraid to leave the house because you're feeling fine now, but then what happens if you leave the house and you have a really bad pain flare-up and you don't have the things that you would normally have that would help you deal with a pain flare-up? Like, you don't have an ice pack at the ready, or you don't have a heating pad that you can just curl up into a ball with. So you don't have those things, so you're afraid, like, what if I'm too far away from these things that I've come to rely on? And so it really starts to eat at your psyche. It really starts to feel isolating. So I think the worst part is that it's hard to authentically be yourself when you're constantly dealing with an ache inside you. It's hard to be yourself, and it's hard to do the things that you used to do all the time or loved to do. It's exhausting. All you want to do is just be with your friends and hang out and do things. But it's like, oh, sorry, I have more than one class today. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to join you in 5 hours because I'll still be recovering from what I did this morning. And then there's all this anxiety because it's not something that is visible. So even though you feel this pain all the time and you feel the illness and the exhaustion and the fatigue and the brain fog and the not being able to concentrate and all those things, you feel them, but no one can see them. There's not like a visual storm cloud above you that's always raining. So there are people who think that you're making it up or that you're being overly dramatic. Like, you might have a little bit of pain, but it's not as bad as you're saying it is. And then with that comes the anxiety of, oh, everyone's judging me. All they see on the outside is a healthy 21-year-old, but on the inside, I'm anything but. There are definitely times when I wonder, would it have been better to just stay in the States and not do this to myself? Because, I mean, usefulness of said doctors aside, I would be around doctors that speak the same language I do and are at least semi-familiar with my condition, even if we haven't figured out what exactly that is yet. They have talked to me and treated me before, and I would have my support system. But at the same time, if this is something that I'm going to be living with for the rest of my life, I don't want it to control where I go and what I do. I think it's an important first step to go abroad and do the things and figure out how to juggle these things on my own, because life goes on. I'm not just this illness. With or without a diagnosis, it's valid and it's happening, but it doesn't have to control my life.